Okay, let's get started. I brought show and tell. This is a free pattern. It is on Quilters HQ. If you go to Quilters HQ and go to up in the very top corner, there is a button for Joan Sews Projects. This is one of my designs. It is AccuQuilt friendly, and I do have AccuQuilt cutting instructions on it. I put reversed and forward facing letters. If you want to do needle turn applique, then you use the front facing. If you want to do fusible like I did here, then it's the reverse applique letters. I used hot fix adhesive. We were just talking about that. It is a product we sell that is permanent up to 50 washings. So you don't have to sew it down. That's a lifetime for a quilt, 50 washings.
That'd make a cute baby blanket with
Yeah.
the child's name on the top.
You could put a kid's name. I did not include a whole alphabet for this. It's a Adobe font, Looney Tunes. So
I really like the table runner this week.
yes.
Yes.
I forgot that. I left it at home. Also,
I gotta get some ink for my printer.
it's really simple. It's another free pattern. That one is from All People Quilt. We did a video on it Tuesday night on Joan Sews Live, so you can go back and watch that and get the AccuQuilt cutting instructions. I think it was dies
2, 4, and 5.
2, 4, and 5. Did you already make it?
No, but I need to get some ink for my printer, and then I can print it off.
Okay. Yes.
I watched the show.
So it turned out super cute. I posted it on Facebook. Where I can pull it up on the tablet when we're done here.
You could do it in Valentine colors.
Oh, that would be super cute for a Valentine. Yep. There's a scrappy. I did it in just some fabric that I just had, laying around. Like tons of. So, who else brought show and tell? Do you want to show your blocks?
Oh. I am. Rebecca helped me find some of that. I actually bought the
Cool.
it was layer cakes, and it was called Purple Rain, and I love purple green blacks. Was a piece there.
Here, let's show the people. Turn around so we can see the people online.
Oh.
There you go.
So anyway,
Very pretty.
I'm making it king size. Wow. So 15 of the grays and then 15 of the other colors. But it's going together pretty well. It just took forever to get all the pieces cut.
Don't show Sean. He is a Ravens fan. He would be like... That's their colors.
Yeah.
Well, let's go show and tell.
So this doesn't have anything to do with that.
I know.
I don't care. Show it anyway.
It's paper piecing.
Oh, I'm just trying to find that. It's going to be. When it grows up, it's going to be.
Oh,
When
pretty.
it grows up, it's lots of piecing.
So you have.
She moves it.
This
Little
is
blades. Oh, wow.
blades, and then the opposite, the other ones are these colors.
That's a very ambitious project,
Yeah.
but it's going to be worth it.
I just wasn't sure that I cared for this blue.
I think it'd be,
But I just need to put it together.
yeah.
Stop messing around with it.
I think you'll be fine. More contrast is always better.
Yeah. It'll make it pop.
Okay,
And bring it in when you get done.
so does everybody have their pattern?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Okay. So this is the project that we're going to be working on. This is going to go from this month through April. And if you got a kit, they're in reds and greens. They're kind of iridescent. We have, I think, 2 kits left that are extra. So we have some new people. So I'm going to go over cutting instructions, and we'll wait just a second while everybody gets back with their pattern.
Should I go up and get one?
Yeah.
I will share mine.
Hi, Donita. Hi, Beverly. Hi, Lana. So, cutting instructions. This is not your first project you've done with us, right? No. Yours? No? This will be your first. Okay. And I think her first. It's two. Are you both going to make it? Why not?
I don't know.
We can fix that.
Right? He does do some. He does all the bindings.
Oh,
I
nice.
do
The quilting. He just
I
does
do long arm
piece.
and bindings. I don't do the.
That's the quilting.
Yeah.
We're the piecers. You're the quilter.
Exactly.
But we're trying to convert him over to the piecer.
It's because the first time that I sewed, I was so proud.
You did such a good
I
job.
was so proud because it came out just the way I wanted it to. And then somebody walked in and says, it's backwards.
I know. I said, congratulations, you're a true quilter. And he's like, what? I'm like, it's backwards.
Well, you know, I have some experience with, high expectations for my own. I'm going to get it perfect on the first try. And quilting keeps me humble.
No, see what it is? And there's going to be people in here that probably say, oh yeah, I totally agree with that. Some people find pulling stitches to be therapeutic and relaxing and stuff like that. Me personally, I would just rather.
Nope. I am at the point where if I have the fabric, I will recut and
Start over.
start over. I'll stitch it. I'll abandon a project in a heartbeat. So,
Speaking of which,
okay.
the one that we're doing with curves,
Oh, that,
Yes.
it's sitting over
Drunkards.
here. The drunkard's hat.
not
Okay.
good.
It's like I can get.
I got all the
beat it
blocks
down
made, but
because
I'm
it's
having
just
trouble putting them together.
Squares together.
You know,
Yeah.
I didn't
I'm still
trim.
doing the.
Okay.
So I
I'm still
need to
doing
have
those
you
too.
Okay.
show me how to make
Okay.
it.
All right, we got everybody back. On the back side is the cutting instructions. This month, all we're going to do is cut. So in your cutting instructions, let's go over the columns. So first off, you have the yardage if you got a kit, then the yardage is in your kit. So first column is the shape. It has the number of the die in it. Second column is the strip. So that is when you cut your fabric, this is how wide you're going to cut your width of fabric strip. So if you're cutting die number 1, you're going to cut a 5.5 inch strip. Second column is the fold. Okay, so die number 1 is a square, so it's going to be a kind of a square fold, and you're going to fan fold it. Die column number 3, number on die. That is how many shapes are on your die. So on the 4-inch cube, shape number 1 has 4 shapes on it. It's hard to see.
Yeah.
But it has 4 shapes on it. So that's what this is for. Column number 4 is number per width of fabric. So if you are doing a 5.5 inch strip, you're going to be able to get 28 pieces out of a width of fabric. And then you have your colors that we're cutting, and they all have numbers in there. So if we go over to the red, so it says 30. You need to cut 30 pieces, and you're going to need 2 strips to cut it. Okay? So when you're cutting this out, cut out all your strips first. When you have the red, so if you have a kit, cut out that 1/2 yard for your binding, and just set it aside, because it's all one piece if you have a kit.
So it's the same red.
Same red as your binding.
So there's
So
only 3 colors in it.
this is a 3-color quilt.
Okay.
Yep. Yep, mine has a little more, but we don't have this fabric anymore. It's sold really, really fast. I wish we had more of it, but once we order, we can't get it anymore. So everything, the only one that I'm going to show you how to cut is shape number 15 because it's kind of wonky. And if you go down on the pattern to shape number 15, it says slide instead of fold. Okay, so this is shape number 15. It's the, I don't know, is it a wedge? It's not a wedge. Is it a wedge?
Kite.
Kite. Kite. Morbid,
Let's go with the kite.
but okay. So you're going to take your width of fabric. You can have it folded like this, but do not fan fold with this one. Okay, because we want to maximize our fabric. So all we're going to do, how many strips does it say we need? 4 strips. So you can do 3 strips at a time. So you're going to have just a stack of 3, just like this, fold it in half, and you can stack 3 of them. And then you're just going to set it, you're going to the belly, doesn't matter. So we're going to set our die on it like that. We're going to end up turning it. The only thing that you want to watch for is to make sure that this corner down here is on the straight grain. Okay? This is all going to be bias. Okay? Straight grain. So you're going to put your fabric down. I am going to turn it to where it's away from me and set it just like that. We're going to run it through. You're going to turn so that your selvage is like this. And this is going to be on YouTube. You can go back and rewatch if you need to. Roll it through and cut. This is a better cutter than the one I have at home.
Yeah.
So, so you should end up with that. You're going to set it down and you're just going to slide your piece of fabric over until, can everybody see this? Mm-hmm. So you can see this sticking out. You're just going to slide it over until you don't see it anymore and then cut again. Okay? I'll show the people on the camera. So you're just going to slide your fabric over until you don't see that anymore and then roll it through and cut again. But always, always, always make sure your selvage is going through this way. And it's going to kind of look like this as you're cutting. Any questions on that? Everything else, like, what's another die that we're using? Die number 4. So everything else, you're just going to fan fold over your die to get the number of pieces that you need. Just like that. And then it's going to roll through. I like to work off of the strips because you always know where your straight grain is. So, and you know if it's stretchy, you don't want to go through this way. Your pieces are going to be misshapen. You always want to go through like that. If you don't have selvage, high and tight, always right. Heartbeat is the wrong way. Okay.
So what are you saying, like the flat spot, the top part would go through first?
No,
Yeah.
it's on the side.
So the direction so you don't want to singe your fabric through the cutter with the stretchy side. So see how that's stretching?
Okay. Yes.
Because your pieces are going to be misshapen. I've seen them off by as much as a 1/16 of an inch. If you're working with really small pieces like this, you'll be off a couple inches by the end of the quilt. So, straight grain. Warp and weft. And I don't remember which one is which. Okay, so that is all we're doing this month. next month we'll begin piecing. So
as long as we have just the 6 layers, we're good.
yes, just the 6 layers. So you can use 3 and then you'll have 1 left over, or you could do 2 and 2 and even it up a little bit more. So 2 strips just like this, slide it over until you get enough pieces. Okay. And nowhere am I using leftovers. So background pieces, you have a large amount of white fabric for the background. You can rotary cut that, or you can cut it with the strip die. Or with a strip die, or you can cut it with the 8-inch cube. So we're kind of mixing things up a little bit here. So in our quilt, I'm going to carry you with me. In our quilt, these are 4-inch squares. So so our block is right here. Our background block is right here. And so that would be out of the 8-inch cube. So you have a kind of a little break on your pattern. So you can see, and it says 8-inch cube. So 8-inch cube right there. So don't mix up. I did keep some extra white in case you do, but we don't have a lot of it. But use your strip die. If you have the 4.5-inch strip die, you're making 4.5-inch squares. You can do that. You can do the cube. It only cuts 1 at a time, or you can rotary cut it. Whichever way works best for you. You need 50 of them. And then also out of the 8-inch cube, die number 3. Yes, die number 3. So 3 and 1 out of the 8-inch cube, and then the rest are out of the 4-inch cube. Questions? Questions about anything else?
I'm glad we're back to points.
Yeah, we'll talk about piecing these and the glue and all of the good stuff that helps us be better sewers. I will be the first to admit I am not a good sewer. I have good tools that help me look like I'm a good sewer. Question?
I'm new to acting quilt.
Okay.
I did the stocking die and made all these stockings for Christmas. So
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out if this is going to be above my skill level or not.
Nope.
Or do you think I can just learn and?
Nope, because we're going to do 1 block. So we're going to do 1 block in 1 month and another block in another month. There's nothing here that is super difficult.
If you can sew a 1/4-inch seam.
I can do that.
Yeah, get that 97D foot out because it has a guide
Yeah.
that bolts onto your Bernina.
But as far as like the basics, and you said length of grain,
Right.
always.
Always, always.
Okay, and
Except on the strip dies. So not always, always. So
Always sometimes.
always sometimes. Do I have a strip die here?
And do you iron or use any kind of anything else on your fabric before you run them?
I do. I do iron and starch. I think I put that in the notes.
Okay.
So there's different starches and sizings. With this one, best press is fine. This is with your kits. It's a pretty heavy fabric. So you shouldn't need more than that. If it was Kaf or something like that, I would say use the, I can't think of the name of it. Oh,
The acorn brand.
yes, the acorn. Yep. So when you're using the strip die, your fabric is going to go folded, and it's going to go on the die just like this. And you can fan fold this way across your die.
Salvage to the bottom.
Salvage to the bottom, right? So you're going to put the side through first. You line up with the strip die right there. Fold across this line.
I have a question also.
Okay.
Is that mostly just a necessity thing, or is there a difference in the dyes that make it so that it's not as affected much with the strips as what it is the other one?
Well, so when we talk about warp and welt, let me do one more thing.
Sure.
When you're doing your strip dye and cutting it, ask me how I know. Put the hole on the bottom of your,
Oh.
because I've had it line up perfectly up here with, and it didn't cut. So, I would like them to go to a different mat, but it doesn't have a hole, but you know, or
Is there
different
a top and
packaging.
bottom on those mats?
No, you can flip them over and reuse them and till they don't cut anymore. Hundreds have cut from a mat, thousands of cuts from a dye. So his question was, is the warp and welt, the strip dyes are the only ones that it makes a difference. So typically, when we're using a strip dye, we're also sometimes gonna turn our fabric. Turn our fabric and cut this way, right? And make squares or diamonds and cut this way. Then our straight grain is going through the dye, so it's not going to distort coming through this way. With the fabric is not going to matter because it's not going to change its shape so much. So we've done some strip dye projects in here and where we've cut out strips and sewed them together and then put them on the dye and then cut them again this way.
It's
So,
the best thing for cutting block squares.
so 2 weeks ago, what was it? Ripple, not rum ripple. It's the rail fence ripple. Uses a 1 1/4 inch strip dye and a 2 inch strip dye. So you sew two pieces together. So you cut out your 1 1/4 inch strips, sew the length of them together, press it, and then you put it on the 2 inch strip dye and cut your blocks. So they're already pieced when you cut them. So that's on YouTube and Facebook too if you want to watch that and see how to use your strip dyes to make blocks because it's a lot of fun. We did the one that's hanging out here. It was Christmas quilt with the checkerboards done the same way with the 1 inch, 1.5, 1.5.
The thing I like best about the strip dyes is because I'm getting old enough that I'd be going along with my ruler and you know.
Yes.
So this is so accurate. I just
Great
love
for
it.
cutting out your binding.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, even though, like, I have the Quilter Select rulers and they don't budge, right? So they stay really still, but it doesn't keep me from going off the
Yeah.
ruler. You know, like I'm exiting
'cause-
the rubber cutter road.
And then you
I
go,
like
Ruin the fabric.
that. Ruin the fabric. So, good question. Did I answer your question? Okay. Any other questions?
I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, just come over. I mean, any of the staff, I think most of the staff has this. So,
Is that how you traditionally cut out all your quilts?
Uh-huh.
Do you use AccuQuilt?
I will say it with me. If I can't cut it with AccuQuilt, I'm not gonna make it.
Really?
Pretty much, really.
pretty much.
One other quick question.
Sure.
Okay, so
Well, that's
as soon as this, you've already got your strip and now you're gonna cut it into blocks using that.
Yes.
Are you lining it up at the very top and the very bottom?
Nope. Then you're gonna turn your die around, and so they put another line right here, and then you're gonna line it up with this one. You can put multiples on. I do. Separate them a little bit because they're gonna move as they go through the strip die. You could do one at a time. I'm lazy. I want to do all of it at once. So
They're efficient.
when I do that, I kind of hold where the ones being cut
yep.
and then kind of
Yep.
hold so they don't shift. But oh, it's so.
And then don't forget to rub your mat to release it a little bit from your fabric. the static, because it does want to stick, and when you're cutting all these little pieces, you don't want to be, I don't really have nails, so I have to pick it off. And
What I've done is, works for me, is I just slide the mat off and it
Yep.
stays.
Yep. When you're,
Takes the static away,
yeah,
I do it this way.
helps.
The mat.
slide the mat off
I slide
instead
it
of.
on an angle.
Okay, any other questions?
I got a question.
Okay.
Because I've never done this before, and I have an AccuCult for years, but I know I haven't been using it right. So when you say 4-inch cube, I guess what do you,
So, this is the cube system. Thank you, Eleanor Burns. Do you have any of the cubes?
No.
No, okay. So you would need the 4-inch, do you have it, you don't have the 8-inch, you just bought, you have the Go.
I have that, but I
This.
just had bought dies like this.
Okay. So the cube system, I think everybody, do you have cube?
I do not, so I'm
Okay.
listening to
Do you guys have
about,
cubes?
the investment and what
Yeah.
can you do with this cube
You can make
system.
lots of quilts.
So we've done an awful lot of quilts. This shape right here is in the cube system. So I got my AccuQuilt, it was a gift in 2009, and this was before the cube system. And I was like, okay, well, I want to cut out a 2.5 square triangle, right? What do I use? And there was no way to know. And so Eleanor Burns, she had a shoulder injury, and so she teamed up with AccuQuilt, and she's like, hey, you need to make all of these shapes that go together. I wish they would have named them differently. I say that every single time. So do I have an 8-inch cube? I do. No, I have part of one. I have part of one. So in the 8-inch cube, they all have the same shapes. Each cube has the same shape. And use them. I'll use the 12 because it's big.
I have got that. I've never used it.
I have used mine. If we want to do a 12-inch cube, I'll do it. So shape number 1 in the cube system is always going to be a square. In our 4-inch cube, there's 4 squares on the die. In the 12-inch, the 9 or 12, 10, 9, 8. I don't know about 6. 6 might have 4. All have 1 square. It is always half the size of the cube. So this is the 12-inch cube. This is a 6.5-inch square, right? Does that make sense to everybody? So, die number 3 is always going to be, what is this? This is
A square triangle.
half square triangles that are half the size of the cube. So in the 8-inch cube, you're going to have a 4-inch finished square. Okay? Die number 4, quarter square triangles. Right? Every cube, die number 4, is always going to be this shape. Die number 5, let's find where I can pull that out. So this is still out of the 12-inch cube. So when you get into some of the other shapes, you're half of half. So this is die number 5. Die number 5 is always going to be a quarter of the shape of the size of the cube. I know this is a lot of math. So this is going to finish to 3.5 inches.
And we will use that one a lot.
Yeah. Die number 5 is you're going to use it a lot. In the 8-inch cube, it finishes to 2-inch square, right? If I cut these 2 out, they're going to finish to a 3.5 square. They're going to finish to a 3-inch square. Does that make sense? So each one of them is all going to have the same dies, and then they all go together. So when you, there's a whole book that has, I don't know, 200 and something blocks that you can make with the cube system. Tons of blocks. It's worth the investment if you are a person who likes to buy magazines and go, I want to make this quilt out of this magazine, or All People Quilt, which is American Patchwork and Quilting. They put their patterns up there for free. The two that we just did on Joan Sews Live were free patterns from American Patchwork and Quilting. So if you like to do magazine patterns and you want to convert them, and there's a lot of piecing like this, Cube is your friend. It is a good investment. So, and you would get your employee discount. Perks for working for us. So, we do offer 25% off every day off of the MSRP on the cubes. Sometimes AccuQuilt's better, sometimes we're better. So it just depends. So they have so many. What? You know the thing, does everybody in here go to, there's a AccuQuilt and Beyond. There's a group on Facebook, AccuQuilt and Beyond. And it's a really good Facebook group. There's a lot of people, they don't really give instruction like you get here, but they do post pictures and inspiration. People talk about one of the things, but one of the things that they talk about a lot is, I got my die and it's messed up. Because UPS, they don't care. Well, okay, let me not say that. Some shipping companies don't care, right? You toss this die out and it's not protected, it's gonna ding the die and you're gonna get it, it's gonna be messed up. You get it here, if it happens to us, we've received dies that have been shipped to us from AccuQuilt, and actually AccuQuilt doesn't use UPS, they use another shipper, where the dies have been damaged. We don't know, we don't open them up. You get it home, you open it up, it doesn't cut or it doesn't cut in the spot. You bring it back, we give you another one. We can open that one and see if it's a bad one. That is the most common complaint is, I got my die and it doesn't cut. So there's benefits to buying from us, but like I said, AccuQuilt has a lot of promotions. Sometimes theirs is better, sometimes ours is better, but we're pretty much, I would say we're within $1 or $2. So, question.
Does that not typically happen with the cubes? Is it other types of dies?
It's usually the strip dies or the block on board or things like
Because
that.
I was like, the cubes, that thing's all
Yep,
packaged in there. I just couldn't understand how you could clean
Yep,
that up to the point where it wasn't cut.
yep.
Yeah.
But when you're shipping this,
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's in a box, but, you know, we're shipping 2 of them. You don't want to lay them flat and stack them, but that's how they ship them. So, it happens. And it could have been just a bad day when they were manufacturing. But that is the difference. If you bring it to us, we'll just give you a different die. If we don't have it, we'll order it, get it in, and give it to you. And then you don't have to go through AccuQuilt's customer support.
I got one more question.
Okay.
Is there a right way or a wrong way to orient the die when it's going through the machine? Or is it just a matter of the fabric that you really have to make sure that you're paying attention to where the bias is?
It's really the fabric, but, right? Like when you have a straight edge and a bias, I kind of like to send this through first. So it would go through the cutter like this. Because I want to make sure this is cut. This is going to stretch no matter what it is, right? Going when it's, because it's kind of at an angle. And so it's always going to stretch as it's going through the die, but it's on the bias. So there's all this give. So I want the corner to go through first. It's just my preference. We've made a lot of quilts that had this. You will master it with this shape. We've made a lot of quilts with this shape. It's a beautiful shape. It makes a beautiful block. It's so worth it. Not the easiest block piece, but it's not difficult either. All you gotta do is master your 1/4 inch seam. Any other questions? Good question.
Instead of sliding it Could you just flip it so that?
You could, but you end up with this side being, I've done it, I know what you're asking, and I've done it, but then you have this much waste on this side. So you're ending up making a square.
I just thought they would mesh together. I mean, it was.
There are dies that do that, but this one is not, this is a slide one. The ones that do are number 10. 14, 13. 13 is the one we rotate. 13 is the one we rotate. Any other questions? All good questions. Oh, you guys are keeping me on my toes.
And these are all in the 4-inch little cubes, right?
They're in the 4-inch. The first part is in the 4-inch cube. Second part is in the 8-inch cube, which you can rotary cut or use your strip die.
So you mentioned that all the cubes, in essence, have the same dies, just different sizes.
Right.
This one that looks like a kite, that is in the 8-inch cube also?
It is.
I just have never noticed it before.
If you start coming to our club, you'll use it often.
Is that one of the companion sets?
It is one of the companion. You're right. Good quit. Thank you.
Yeah.
It is a companion. It's not in the basic cube. So there's
Okay. Then that's why I had to.
Angles.
corners and angles. So AccuQuilt was smart about it. They put important things in different segments in the companions.
So you must have.
So you have to get those too.
So how much is like a cube system?
I don't know.
How much you got?
$2.
I think that's.
Do something.
I like that ready, set,
200
go.
something?
If,
Yeah.
if you're just starting out.
Well, she already has the cutter,
Oh.
so she just it'd be cheaper to get the cube.
Yeah.
So
I have a lot of,
strip dies.
and a bunch of squares and stuff before they made
Yeah.
all that. I've had it like you since 2009-ish.
Yeah, yeah. When they weren't. I mean,
I just never learned how to really use it. I mean, I use it for strip cutting and stuff. But
well, I'm glad that you decided to join us. We have done a lot of quilts.
We have fun.
And we do segue off into all kinds of sewing stuff. You'll hear me, my favorite saying is presser foot pressure. So, yeah, we'll talk about it next time. Presser foot pressure. Yeah. So we do segment off into all kinds of sewing stuff because this isn't just a cutting system, it's a cutting and sewing and quilting. Okay. Anything else? Anybody? Anybody? Were you talking about fair or anyone? Okay.